So few words can say so much. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Megha Sood. She is an award-winning poet, editor, author, and literary activist, and her work is inclined toward social issues as generating awareness is the primary goal of her writings. Please give us your beautiful words, Megha.
Thanks, Joni, for this honor, and thanks everyone for being here. My poem is called They Have Plans for Us, and it's based on the complete abortion ban mentioned in the Project 2025 manifesto. They have plans for us. Oh, yes, they have plans for us. Oh, yes, the one they have hammered down to the last line, the manifesto, word after word, line after line, pages after pages, mapping the curves of our bodies, silhouettes of our desires, dipped in their thick black inks of subjugation. Yes, they have plans for us, boxing all the mortal things, bejeweled with life plans, trinkets, and bling, underlining their adoration for us, their unfettered love, passion, their soft, caring being. Yes, they have plans for us, stripping bare our tongues with hands tied at our backs, wounds scraped clean, as pristine and demure as they want us to be, with their stories of success etched in our spines for kingdom come. Yes, they have plans for us. To carry the love of incest and rape in our womb, licking our wounds clean but never saying a word, bringing shunned love to our full breast, letting it down a bit, warmly and gently nursing it every day, recounting the days like a horror story on reels. Yes, they have plans for us, till our thick blood trickles down murky lanes of a dark, empty parking lot for their sheer pleasure, a sluice of broken dreams and desires carrying our strangled future. Yes, they have plans for us, for guarding every inch, every iota of our existence, having a lien to our soul. A perfect story of a mother with rounded belly, making it complete, making it whole. Yes, they have plans for us to get on our knees, to say our prayer for exalted gods in heaven, to utter words of salvation and redemption till the kingdom come. Yes, they have plans for us to carry the blood stories in our sacred womb and not to utter a single word, to hold the bitter truth on the edge of our teeth while licking razor blades without spilling a word. Yes, they have plans for us, freeing us from all this self destruction our simple minds can't conceive, taking us to yet another hell that they have brilliantly mapped out for us. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, Megha. It's breathtaking. And it's very apt that Dorothy Friedman August is going to follow Megha. Dorothy is a old, long time friend of mine, poet, editor, and professor, studied with John Ashbery at Brooklyn College, received 2 NIFA fellowships and an Acker Award. She's published 3 poetry collections and is currently completing a memoir, The Bastard Heirs, about the Lower East Side in the 80s. Welcome, Dorothy.
Thank you, Joni, and good afternoon, everyone. Happy birthday, Martin Luther King, who taught us and instructed us and encouraged us to persevere. So I'm reading one poem called As If. As if the children in Kiev are not our children, as if the marches hadn't already happened, as if we are not echoing Vietnam and Nagasaki, as if we can escape our own brutality, as if meditation were the answer, or medication, or mediation, as if living simply were the answer, or singing or worshiping Buddha, as if our offspring were not all stunted by the fastidious blends and byproducts of last century's karma, as if battered women and child abuse were really another issue, as if the war at home and the war abroad were separate, disconnected entities, as if changing the TV channel could erase the truth about our complicity in the destruction of the planet, as if the Israelis are not our children, as if the Palestinians are not our children, as if the Rwandans are not our children, as if the Ukrainians are not our children, as if the Russians are not our children, as if the elderly are not our children, as if the homeless are not our children, as if we can avoid each other on Earth by living in cyberspace, as if Facebook could replace the human connection, as if we could love one another and not go crazy, as if we could love one another and not go crazy, as if we could love one another and not go crazy, as if life is not relentless, as if the war in Gaza will give Trump higher ratings, as if cartoons are any less violent, as if Putin is only bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as if Netanyahu is only bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as Trump is only bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as if we are not all bloodthirsty, territorial, and savage, as if the commencement of the Gulf War on Martin Luther King's birthday was not an appropriate measure of Americans' racism, and totally in keeping, as if the gunning down of Diallo and the brutal rape of Louima were not totally in keeping, as if penetration of the enemy were not a male activity, as if Trump's inauguration is not totally in keeping with everything else, as if the media ever really told the truth, as if there will ever be a new world order, as if. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. Next up is, he's my neighbor and comrade. Austin Alexis is the author of Privacy Issues in 2014. His work appears in Rattle, Barrow Street, Dash, and elsewhere. His second full-length collection, forthcoming from Kelsey Books, will be published in late summer 2025. Congratulations, Austin Alexis.
Thank you. Thanks so much to Larissa, Joni, Elizabeth, and everyone who helped to put this reading together. I'll read just this one poem. Believe it or not, I wrote this many months before the November election. Election night. He won, and large capacity ammunition feeding devices sprang to life like fireworks waking on Independence Day. He won, and George Floyd gagged in his grave. He won, and dragged out ready to use cages. He won, and oil reams discharged into the Mississippi. He won, and scorched the soil, the hills, the sacred earth. He won, wounding the wombs of women. He won, and rainbows faded from the sky. He won, and democracy jumped off a high cliff. Or maybe he shoved it and pretended the death was accidental, though the homicide glared clearly, blindingly, like TV screens on election night. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. He won. And George Floyd turned gagged in his grave. Yes. Now we're going to go upstate for a bit and introduce the powerful and wonderful Mike Jerkovic. Please tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Mike.
No, that was perfect.
Oh, great. Okay. Mike Jerkovic's books include Buckshot Reckoning, Moon Cussers, American Mental, Haiku Collections, Monet's Bamboo, and Blue Fan Whirring. Mike is president of Calling All Poets, CAPS, in Hudson Valley, and hosts New Jazz Excursions on WVKR 91.3 FM. That's 91.3 FM at Vassar College. And now, Mike.
Thank you, Joni. Thank you, everyone. I was hoping to do a couple of new things, but these two seem to work since they came from the first administration, the first time around. And this is called The Gold Engraved. If you awoke fragile today, steer clear. I'm standing on the dry line, gathering steam, and may say things I don't mean or purport to have written. Hitch my ride to the pity parade and parrot its opiate shuffle. Barely disguise my disgust for the words you choose to screed your codex, your rabid, unholy verse, your clown's redress, and how it persuades your querulous legion to shoot me on sight. Your sucker theorem's historical record, your crap orange portrait alongside FDR, his cousin, Lincoln, and the black guy you've demeaned and deplored. You piece of shit, you rat's ass, you hell-bent blind soldier at war against science, at war against ourselves, in which no house stands, not even the gold engraved ones. No, not even the gold engraved. And this one is called Spree. Monday 6, Tuesday fatal, Wednesday 8, Thursday 9, the weekend 10, Monday 12, Tuesday 12, Wednesday 6, 13, Thursday, Friday 16, Friday, Saturday 24, 9 at Sunday school, college Monday, market Tuesday, the mailman on Wednesday, Thursday, Main Street, Friday, mosque, Saturday, temple, Sunday, Mormons, and Monday, 10 more, double down on Tuesday, double down on Wednesday, 14 Thursday, 16 Friday, Saturday plenty, Sunday more. Monday thoughts, Tuesday prayers, Wednesday thoughts, Thursday prayers, nurses Friday, Saturday tourists, Sunday, Easter Sunday, fireman Monday, blue plate Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 10. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Mike. Fantastic. Okay. So c'est ma faute. Lissa, Charles, and Julia, I have not forgotten you. I just kind of went off the grid there for a second, but I see you. So next up, I want to introduce Lissa Mora. Much awarded, I shall enunciate, much awarded, lauded, and produced playwright, screenwriter, director, actor, poet, collage artist. Next up, Lissa directs, contributes writing, and is dramaturg for Robert Monticello's Cafe Resistance, opening April 10th at Theater for the New City, that's in the East Village in New York City. Lissa, I'm so pleased to bring you on.
For a minute there, I thought I couldn't get in, but I got in. Thank you, Joni, and thank you, everyone, for being so inspirational. I cried 2 days straight after the election, and I dried my eyes because I had a show to get up, and here we go. All right, this is excerpts from Earth, Love It or Leave It, and Democracy, Use It or Lose It. There once was a mother called Earth, who nurtured us all from our birth. She gave us our food and our water, named us her sons and her daughters. Then we took her for all she was worth. We killed off her creations through mass desecration. We let loose our greed, took more than we need. Now we suffer our mother's damnation. Hey, Elon Musk, President Musk, you can leave Earth for 1 day in space, but when you return, it's the same damn place. The air's a disgrace, the ozone's displaced, and half of our species are gone without trace. And you tell me over and over again, my friend. How you don't believe we're on the eve of extinction? We're having a heat wave, a permanent heat wave. The oceans are rising. It isn't surprising we didn't do all that. We can. We're having disasters. We're acting like bastards. We're all in denial. Decision is final. We better do all that. We can. Hey, all you MAGA morons in Congress, it say here in the newspaper, doomsday clock 5 to 12. What the fuck? What the hell? Ain't you got any children you care about? No? Swell. Anybody at all you care about? Even your own scaggy behinds? What are you, blind? You rejected the green for the red. Methinks you have rocks in your head. Guess you won't be happy until we're all dead. The earth's in the toilet, you're determined to spoil it. The glaciers are melting, the polar bear's sweltering. We better do all that. We can. Now I entreat you all to wake up and smell the renewed passion for fascism all over the world. Hey, Mr. Ben Franklin, our republic is slipping through our fingers as the white supremacy slingers push their phony, filthy, septic, apoplectic, apocalyptic isms, racism, anti-Semitism, anti-intellectualism, causing a schism in the not yet United States of America's hysteria. Even outlawed the Diary of Frank. Please give a damn. First they burn the book, then the man, then the woman. Amidst the misogyny and trans ban, Diogenes would be hard put to find an honest man. All this hate for the gays, blacks, and Jews. I got the authoritarian blues. The lies and hypocrisy are killing our democracy as they're methodically disenfranchising. We all must be realizing, if even with our hearts in our throats, we must use our voices and our votes. Now that the Rons and the Dons have turned 2024 into 1984, which they also banned, I wonder why. Couldn't you all just die? Thank you. I never saw my picture come up, but I hope the poem went out there.
Thank you, Lisa. That was great. And Lisa runs a poetry, monthly poetry.
Well, it's not monthly. It's whenever we get the space.
Oh, okay.
But it's
At
the
Theater
Live
for the New
Poets
City.
Society.
Sorry?
The Live Poets Society, whenever we get the space at Theater for the New City.
The Live Poetry Society. So check that out. Poets that are in New York City or visiting.
The Live Poets Society as opposed to the Dead Poets Society.
Got it, babe.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everyone.
Charles. Next is Charles Frederick, griot poet since the late 60s, composes his work within social justice mobilizations. Street masses, he wrote during the AIDS era, are archived in the Irish National Library. His poem, The Hudson River, an autobiography, will be published in Portugal in 2025. Welcome, Charles Frederick.
Thank you so much, Joni. Am I being heard? Not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear?
Loud and clear.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone. I'm going to just read one poem. It's called New Year's Song for Gaza. When I try to hold him as comfort, as solace in our lover's embrace, as we had grown used to for so many years, why do I, in place of him, hold a poet dead in Gaza? When I look into the mirroring eyes, tears wet and washed, of the one for so long I have loved, and from whom I was always loved in return, why do instead I find a dead child's eyes from Gaza, open, terrified, looking back at me? Why Why, when I shake my lover's shoulders for his attention, is it a woman in my hands, broken, a mother who cannot come back to life in Gaza? Why, when I breathe in the perfume of my lover's body at night, in the morning, do instead I inhale the brick dust of bombed out Gaza's rubble, Billie Holiday's smell of burning flesh? Thank you.
Thank you. I have to wait to exhale. Thank you, Charles. I am very pleased to now present Julia Lucella. Is that correct? Lucella. Lucella. Julia Lucella is a poet, scholar, and teacher. Her most recent collection of poems, Our Lively Kingdom, from Bordighera Press, was named a finalist in the 2023 Patterson Book Prize. Happy to see you here, Julia.
Joni, thank you so much. It's so good to be among all of you. I'm going to read two poems. This one was written the last time Trump was president, and I never thought I'd say those words. A member of the poor, and this is a nod to Gwendolyn Brooks's The Lovers of the Poor. A member of the poor. In the small house in Queens where I grew up, daylight flutters behind broken blinds, and proofs of memory scatter across the dining table in post-it notes in neon colors, on which my mother writes the name of a woman who calls her now and then to prove her fingers still can bend around a pencil, Milly, in a cursive learned in school 90 years ago. My mother's pennies are disappearing into her care, the strength of another woman who guides her to the bathroom, wipes her, places the mashed food before her, of which she always says now, "Ugh, what is this?" She eats to clear the plate. The economy of care slithers down her body, while fat men in the center of things have learned to keep their pennies near, grossing under their pornographic growth, beneath their hips a world of poor, in a country vat of aging bodies unaccounted for. A care box arrives to my mother's house from City Meals, canned cut vegetables and packages of albacore and salmon, and powdered milk in a small jug, as though she might be a survivalist storing up. But this is a pleasant house with wall-to-wall carpeting and running water, and daughters calling oilmen, plumbers, boys from down the block to shovel and to fix. A system of care confuses the otherwise thinning bank account we stare at as the checks are written to hold her body upright, to keep her body safe. Nightly, she watches CNN. She and her caregiver nearly spitting at the scene where the yellow man, as her caregiver calls him, without mercy, visits again his beloved sea lake, which is neither sea nor lake. A man who confesses he does not sleep, and so it's clear he does not dream. He is new here in the country of broken bank accounts and aging women who have saved for their lifetime what he will spend today. And I'll just close with this poem called Psalm for Roe versus Wade, which I wrote after the Dobbs decision, and mostly because the one who shall not be named seems to think that God made him president. I am God's body in the world. I share in the breath of the trees. These are God's arms. These are his legs. But you there believe you are God's body, arms grown to push me, legs grown to block my way. God, I thought you did not believe in war, but you created it. Holy is the hell between us. Holy is the road they claim. Holy is the violence made all night by God's body in the world. I sleep fitfully, cry out, where is my body tonight? God, you're a stranger to me now when men in the world can claim you. I wear my quiet shoes, walk in the dark, feel my way into the houses of friends. All day we have been singing and weeping beside the riverbank. Lay down your grievances against the women of your lives, our power. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was gorgeous. Thank you, Julia. Next, I'm going to introduce from the West Coast, from actually upstate California, Dr. Kim McMillan, with great pleasure to introduce her. Her children's book, The Healing Book of Me, will be published in late April 2025. Sage Encyclopedia of Refugees Studies will publish her Ancestor as Refugee Essay in September 2025. Kim McMillan, please.
Johnny, I'm sorry, I can't find her in the participants list. Kim McMillan?
Yeah, because I went out of sequence. So she should be listed right after Mike Jerkovic.
I'm sorry, that's not it. I can't find her in the room.
Oh.
Maybe she didn't make it in. Kim, if you're here, please say something in the chat. Otherwise, I guess we should go on to the next person.
Yeah, she was here. I
Oh.
saw her. So I guess perhaps she had to leave. If she comes back in, we should honor her appearance, all possible.
Ziggy says she can't unmute. Is she under a different name, Kim McMillan?
No, I don't think so.
She's under Kim California. Okay, just a moment.
Oh, yay.
All right.
Good eye there.
Oh, I can unmute now. I'm unmuted. Thank you.
Welcome, Kim.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to read a poem that is actually a part of a book that I'm going to have published probably about October. And it's called The Pigeons Are Running Wild. The pigeons are running wild. Had they been reading? Do they know about our election? How do we stop these pigeons gathering around basins, petals, lunchtime leftovers with questioning eyes? Yesterday, above 12th Street BART station in Oakland, I ordered a turkey sandwich. A pigeon flew on the counter and looked directly at the server as though he was about to give an order. Instead, he was shooed away. I asked if he was a regular customer. They grinned, but they did not say no. I'm fearful of a changing world, fearful of climate change, people going hungry, of women being taken away, of women's rights being taken away, of world leaders serving themselves rather than the masses. I look down, and suddenly I'm surrounded by pigeons. I try to move past their beady eyes, staring at me. What did they want? I have seen signs. We are not living in ordinary times. The birds, they know things, dropping their feathers in unusual places. Will they bomb our enemies with dried nuggets, hoping for relief in a world where there is none? The pigeons are going wild. Last week, there was a feather in my sink. How did it get there? Why? Was it some type of code? Was this a pigeon conspiracy? Perhaps they're carrying notes from one country to the next. I gazed down and counted 5 pigeons gathered. There was one in the middle, looking at everyone. There was something very Russian about him, or her, or they. The world is changing, was written on the sidewalk just below the pigeons. Were they trying to tell me something? The pigeons are running wild. Who will stop these pigeons? How can we fix this feeling of unrest? People running, people screaming. The pigeons are running wild. We are running wild. Are we and the pigeons telepathing our concerns to each other?
Wow.
Do they know our fears, our feelings of, is it really too late to save our country, to create real change? Do we have a savior? The pigeons are running wild. Are they our saviors or charlatans dressed in feathers? Can they help us? Can they save us? Or are we doomed to a life of running too? Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful, fanciful flight.
I know it's out there.
No, it is. It's great.
Oh, thank you.
We know those pigeons, especially here in New York City, that's for sure. Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Kim.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Maria Lucella Vicella, Queen's sixth poet laureate, who received an Academy of American Poets Laureate Fellowship in 2020. Her collections include Thieves in the Family, Amore on Hope Street, and Two Naked Feet. She co-curates Italian American Writers Association readings. With great pleasure, Maria Lucella.
Oh, thank you very much, Larissa and Joey, and also Jonathan for organizing this. This is a piece that appeared in New Verse News. Hail Mary. Buongiorno, buen dia, Maria. Full of grace and wisdom and power. The Lord may be with thee, and you may be blessed among women. But what about the children? Not the one in the womb that has been consecrated as the Son of God, but God, your God, my God, has many sons, daughters, all around the world. They are not blessed. Some are cursed and lost and under a pile of rubble in Ukraine, Yemen, Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Others live in the darkness of the blind, are plagued by hallucinations, cursed with spasms of a mind that plays tricks on them all day, all night. Imagine a predator behind you in your shadow, silent, stealthy, looking over your shoulder or under your bed. You cannot see, but you know they are there, and they mean you harm for no other reason than you are where you find yourself, not for an act you perpetrated on someone else, just for being who you are. The luck of the draw? And Holy Mary, Mother of God, do you pray for the innocent as well as the sinners? The pilots, the soldiers firing artillery rockets, are they too prayed for? Rockets with ranges of 30 to 50 miles, fired in barrages for the most effect, the most damage. Are they too in your prayers to God? And which God might that be? What does that God look like? What does that God think, plan? Why does that God never intervene? Humans shooting hate and rockets blindly into Ashkelon, Beersheba, under the eyes of Israeli drones. Range is crucial for rockets, for prayers too. Pray for us sinners and for the innocent, for my own son living in a world plagued with demons he cannot see or touch or hear, but knows they are there. So music and words come to him as if in a shaft of light. In day or night, raises his voice above the din in his brain to feel the lift above the iron dome of paranoia, the upsurge of spirits that haunt and fly and invade his small cot in an institution with cinder block walls, netted windows he can't see but knows they are there. The limitations, the lack of liberty, the outside in, the other sons and daughters in Gaza or Yemen or Ukraine are bombarded with a panoply of air power, used in a steadily escalating series of attacks. What I wish for my own son is comfort, warmth, knowing there is a meal, a roof over his head, a dog at his feet, a son he can feel but cannot see. Mother of God, what do you wish for your sons, your daughters, now and at the hour of their deaths? When will your God hear your pleas, or have the mothers and daughters been silenced to the tunnels, the basements, the streets, Have they lost their voices, their powers to heal now and at the hour of now? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria. That was just great. Thank you. Thank you. And now another heavy hitter in a series of unmitigated, nonstop heavy hitters. We have something to say, people, and we are the speakers. And here is another brave speaker, Nancy Mercado. Nancy Mercado received the 2017 American Book Award for Lifetime Achievement from the Before Columbus Foundation. Recognized by American University's Family Initiatives and Anti-Racist Research and Policy Center as one of 200 individuals embodying Frederick Douglass's spirit in honor of his bicentennial. Nancy Mercado, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I don't see myself, but that's fine. This poem was written during the last Trump, stealing of the election. It's called Epilogue for the 21st Century, the Trump regime. And the demon took possession of the nation, leading it by the hand in circles, engaging in topsy-turvy talk, weaving and unstitching gnarls of lies, dangling morsels of double talk and innuendos. And the nation jumped in attempts to capture these morsels, if only for a second, to distill them into reality, to identify them as black or white. But the demon kept changing the meaning of all things, kept morphing his empty shell of broken bits and shiny shards of wickedness enshrined in glassy vials, and the nation contorting and heaving, drowned in a melee of arguments and weapons and hurricanes and earthquakes and wildfires and special reports on the evening news. While the demon's henchmen went out into the world and defiled the rivers, defiled the women, defiled the poor, defiled all the good creatures of the earth. They were hell-bent, maniacal in their derangement. They were the leaders of the free world. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to introduce from uptown New York City, Upper West Side, I believe, Bonnie Finberg, the wonderful Bonnie Finberg, whose writing is in Evergreen Review, Sensitive Skin, and Brooklyn Rail. She authored Callie's Diary, 2 poetry collections, Sitting Book, and Deja Vu, and a short story collection, How the Discovery of Sugar Produced the Romantic Era. Bonnie, delighted to bring you on.
Thank you. It's Kali's Day, not Kali's Diary.
Oh my God.
It is a kind of diary in a sense. Okay.
My bad, darling.
Okay. This is called The Great Reward. The older you get, the more photos you reject. You say, that's a bad picture. This becomes more frequent. Then one day you realize there's no one there to bring you in because you flew out of a vacuum. The flocks arranged like penguins flank the gates of your demise. All the saviors cough, sentries and bandits among the hoi polloi. Is this the prelude to a tragedy or the unspooling thread of progress? A nova, new, brief flashing light, a wonder, gone. A wave could be hello or goodbye. There is always someone, something, dying. It's where you choose to look. I'm sorry that I always turn toward darkness, have always feared the dark. Enter the dark, unshadowed, a dream of sudden nakedness, when everyone is there, all in the same place at the same time, clothed in nothing. But we'll have to wait and see. The unknown has left us here in this world, the remains of an enigma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you. It's next my great pleasure to introduce my comrade and daughter, Valerie Oisteanu, a Soviet-born Romanian and American poet, art critic, essayist, photographer, and performance artist whose style reflects Dada and Surrealism influences. He's authored over a dozen books of poetry, a book of short fiction, and a book of essays. Valerie, please join us.
Thank you, Joni. I will read the poem that you suggested about Alexei Navalny. I feel sort of camaraderie with him because I grew up in Ukraine, and I know he was a martyr. He decided to go back straight into the hands of KGB and FSB. So the poem is called Martyr's Destiny, to Alexei Navalny. The snow is melting at the polar wolf gulag, a clear sign that young martyr has died. The wolves are moaning in a Siberian tundra as a frozen night suddenly smells of springtime. Yes, do not give up. Do not be afraid. The greedy, short-legged hunters fenced you in with fake flags and unholy crosses, poisoning you again and again and even again. They locked you up in a cell beyond the Arctic. The black hole of the gulag could not swallow you. The sky slipped beneath your secret tomb. Your martyr's eye escaped the cage into the ending tundra. Your sarcastic laughter turning into howls, echoing over the vast horizon, reaching the other side of oppression, beyond the secret graveyard. Do not give up. Do not be afraid. Impossible dream of a country without KGB, without war, and without oligarch. Storm the gates of prisons and liberate all political prisoners. There will be no happiness in Russia, no laughter, only Navalny blues, Navalny blues. The desire for freedom does not ever die. Thank you. Thank you, Joni. Thank you, everybody. I am Valerie Oisteanu.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Is Eileen Miles in the house?
I have, oh, she just arrived in the waiting room.
Great, okay. So I'm gonna maybe, her bio is extremely short, so could you just tell me when she comes on? Because I'm kind of toggling between page, systems stuff.
Eileen, we're ready for you.
Yeah.
Ready for
Eileen?
who? Me?
Yes.
Yeah, we are, what timing?
Oh, great. Okay, great.
That's all I can say. I am so pleased as punch.
There we go.
Present,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. Glad to be part of this.
I want to just read your brief bio for
Okay,
you.
great, great.
Okay. Eileen Miles' newest book of poems is A Working Life. And just before, they edited Pathetic Literature. Okay, so great to have you here, Eileen.
Yeah, Great to be here on this totally obscene holiday. Well, it's not obscene because it's Martin Luther King, but it sure is obscene based on who just got, I don't know, elevated to give us all a bad time. I'm excited to think about people painting away the genders off bathrooms all over America. I feel like that would be the greatest, one of the many great activisms. So I'm just going to read a little piece. I thought about what would be great. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It's a teeny excerpt from a book called Cool for You. I hate being a woman. I am 45, almost 50. I was walking across some cement the other day, across the kiosks, going out, rushing someplace with a cigarette in my hand. I thought of that girl. I was leaning in Soho one night on Broadway, waiting for someone. A girl came around the corner. She had my face. She had long hair, was kind of dreaming, looking sad. She had a cigarette in her hand. She was on her own. I felt so lonely looking at that girl. Around 22 or 25, just moved to New York, had an apartment. This big-faced white girl, kind of strong, a healthy girl, but sad. She wasn't doing anything tonight. You could tell. She had her cigarette. It was like the whole vague longing of youth was in that smoke, loosely but closely held at the fingers. What time of year was it? Maybe fall. There was fall in the air. There was her and her cigarette and her body. She had a walk. She was kind of drifting. She probably intended to buy some food. She was moody. Maybe she was going to her friend's apartment. It didn't matter. She could have been even going to a party. It didn't matter, not to her. Her walk counted. The fact that she was out there alone with her thoughts. Not much had happened. It wasn't on her. She was kind of sad and kind of free. When I was 12, it was the last day of school, and I was lying in bed, and something felt wet underneath me, and I felt weirdly sick. I got up, and there was blood underneath me, and I faintly understood, and I pulled myself up. I remember cotton around me, pajamas, and my sheets, and I carried myself downstairs, my bare feet hitting the fake wool of the carpet, and I can hear those dull thuds as I wavered down. I went into the bathroom and sat on the toilet, and there was more of it, blood, and there was this whirring feeling inside of me. I thought I was going to pass out, and I did. There were big, huge clots of blood. It looked like liver, which I hate, pouring out of this thing I wouldn't yet call cunt or anything. I didn't know about the inside of me. I was afraid to break myself. I knew there was an up, but I didn't go there. I thought I would get hurt. It was almost like I was already broken somehow. I got up from the toilet and I opened the door, not even flushing, I think. And I fell down in the doorway, completely blacked out and collapsed. My brother came running. Mom, Eileen fell down. Oh, are you all right? I guess you got to look at the toilet. Come on, you'll be all right. She pulled me up. Later, I got one of those huge cotton pads to put between my legs and one of those obscene stretchy bands that have little hooks and claws to which you attach the thinner, almost gauzy part of the giant pad. It's all closed up, and you flood one and you change it. I really bleed a lot. Years of it, being a woman. I was a woman before, I suppose, bleeding through my uniform in school, blood on my seat, and blatantly announcing to the world I was female, excessively so, and I had been a boy so long. Somehow my periods would have to be the worst. I remember some girls referring to it as their friend. It seemed to suit the weird advertising Kotex used. Soft, medium-range colors, the white product filling the inside. Later, Tampax with that typeface that seemed Japanese. Do they print the boxes in Japan? Nothing in America is ever printed in that strange, mechanical, slightly Asian type. Where did that come from? Now I could get pregnant. I think I'm lucky these days when I haven't stained the bed. I remain profuse, a bad visitor, always washing out someone else's sheets. My blood has the same drama now that it did when I was a kid. What I mean is that it begins in kind of a flood and it goes out that way. I mean, I could probably bleed for 5 more years. I've never had a baby, never really considered, except for one afternoon on a raft in a pond in New Hampshire. Everything was surrounded by light, the strangeness of that thought. I could have a kid, and it passed like a cloud in the sky. But I feel my body remembering itself now when I feel that sickening pleasure of blood. It's got to be different for us. I'm imagining every woman I know spending 24 2,500 days in her life with blood pouring out of the inside of her body, announcing her ability to lay an egg. All that blood like some kind of sex with yourself. Is it clotty? Is it red, brown? Does it look too bright? Don't you think better when you're bleeding? Don't you want to stay home and smoke and read and write? Don't you feel tremendously sexy? Have you spent years hiding it, arming yourself against revelation, the stains and the bloody smell? Do you want to fuck? I remember my friend describing his face when he described eating the pussy of a bleeding woman, that he had red wings.
I wish that our newly inaugurated president could have heard that.
I figured I would read what I would read if I was invited to read at the inauguration.
I think that's perfect.
Give him blood.
That's what he
Well,
wants.
thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Eileen. Okay, I have one more reader, Robert Roth. And now that I've said his name, I just want to ask, have I called on everybody who is in my group of curated writers? Anybody hold up your hand if I somehow inadvertently and sinfully omitted you? Are we good? Okay, I'm going to go forward with the incredible Robert Roth, who's got so much out there in the ionosphere and other spheres, and has chose to come to us through video, which is why I'm closing this segment with Robert's video. He has been creating videos with Hendrik van Oort and Lotte van den Dickenberg Mejores for many years. I hope I said their names right. They are joined here by Tahira Akbar and Ralph Nazareth. Robert.
Does Jonathan have the link? You think he's supposed
Jonathan, you have that link?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd be sharing the screen. I apologize.
No.
Um,
I'm not up to that yet.
sorry, Robert. I thought you'd be sharing the screen. Let me see here if I have it real quick. Robert, I apologize. I don't have it ready. Can you share your screen?
I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can you read the link? It's a YouTube link.
I can.
Right, it'll be digits. Maybe we can circle back to Robert. Is that okay? And I'll find that link.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Can you call me? I can tell you how to get there if you can't find it.
Okay, well, I can find it once I get off the share screen, so I will find it. Of course, it ruins the beautiful symmetry of this set, but that's okay. We'll move forward. Thank you for being so gracious, Robert.